If we were to tell you that you could have one hit as a music artist and forever be in infamy, would you take it? You absolutely would. It's One Hit Wonder Wednesdays, giving you your 15 minutes of fame and extending it for a lifetime.
You are listening to 104.1 KQTH, Tucson's News and Talk. I am the beautiful man. The sexy sidekick is close at hand. Charles in charge. Taking your calls is 751-1041. My friends, we live in crazy times. We live in crazy times. The Empire Strikes Back. That's all for now on that. We are still down on Facebook. Maybe we'll be up out of jail in about an hour or so. Maybe. You can join us on our 104.1 KQTH YouTube page for now.
Correct.
For now. You can a lot is going on.
Yeah, again, it is the 104.1 KQTH YouTube page. It is titled with James T. Harris, today's date, and the hour we are in. So, of course, it's James T. Harris, 5/3/17, 2 p.m. We are currently streaming right now. I kept going to the page, and we're still frozen out of everything on the KQTH page. And hopefully in about an hour or so, we'll be on parole. That is sort of a wider thing that's going on across social media. But that's all I'm going to say about that right now. There's a lot in the news today. We're going to talk about what's happening on late night TV in the 5 o'clock hour. We talked about it briefly yesterday with the lovely Stephanie Dunlap, the whole Jimmy Kimmel a monologue, 13 minutes talking about the birth of his son, had a heart defect. By the grace of God and the miracle of modern medicine, he was saved. And Jimmy Kimmel was very, very thankful about that until he turned his guns against President Trump. And there's more to the story comes out today. Also, we have Stephen Colbert that is in a lot of hot water. Not because he viciously attacked President Donald Trump. No, he's in a lot of hot water because he used a gay slur. See, the gay slur is where he crossed the line. The attack on Trump, well, that's great. But the gay slur has him in hot water. We will talk about that in the 5 o'clock. 4 o'clock, we're going to visit with some friends from Fisher House. We're going to have them in. We haven't talked to them for a while. I got word from a little birdie that there's some news coming down the pike. It probably is already out there, but I'm going to wait until I speak to Mr. Mike Noble at 3:05. There's one of our favorite pollster has some information out concerning the great state of Arizona, and I believe President Trump. I was going to say Senator John McCain, but we don't really care about him. Oh, no, we really don't. Let me start with this. If you had a chance to see any of the hearings today, Ross, I forgot to tell you to capture Al Franken and his questioning of James Comey today in a Senate hearing. It was, well, some friends saw this and were really concerned about the state of the union, the state of our country. They thought that Al Franken's line of questioning was treasonous. The questions that he was asking of James Comey, director of the FBI. Franken was concerned about the elections going on in France, and he wanted to know what Comey was doing about the Russians hacking the French election. They're still carrying out this ridiculous meme that President Trump was in collusion with Putin and the Russians. And they want to know, how can James Comey safeguard elections around the world? It's quite obvious that Al Franken is going to throw his hat in 2020. If you didn't know that, mark it down. You heard it here first. Al Franken is going to throw his hat in to represent the Democrats against
President Trump in 2020. I think that he thinks that if Trump could do it, certainly he can. He was once, in television. He was on Saturday Night Live of the infamous Stuart Smalley and other that's the only character I remember Al Franken doing on Saturday Night Live. That was before your time, wasn't it, Ross? Al Franken on Saturday Night Live?
I mean, I didn't watch it live when he was doing it, but I mean, they always play old episodes, and some of those episodes, I mean, there were some great people on those shows.
Right.
And Al Franken just happened to be part of that cast.
A great ensemble, absolutely. But anyway, he's going to run. So because I didn't have that with you, what I'm going to do is this. I'm going to get right into, I think, one of the most explosive moments in today's testimony. James Comey. I thought I was done with this. I thought that this is just going to be more shenanigans. Oh, we're investigating the Russians. Oh, why did Comey, reintroduce, the evidence against Hillary? But what Comey said today was I think, my friends, and you could tell me if I'm wrong, I think James Comey threw Loretta Lynch under the bus. Here's how it went down.
What I'm trying to do is say it looks like you were trying to provide as much transparency and as much real-time information as you had.
Yeah.
And then on November the 6th, the FBI apparently moved heaven and earth and got something done in a matter of days that they thought was going to take beyond the election. But you were in that pressure cooker. I just wanted to give you an opportunity to glue together, I think, the decision for your actions on July the 5th and how I think there's parallels between that and what you ultimately did on October the 28th and then November the 6th. And I'll yield back the remaining of my time for the answer.
Okay, here we go. See, this is what he wants James Comey to explain. Why, after he came out and said, you know what, even though the laws were broken and things like here, what we have to do as the FBI, we have to judge on intent. And we can't find any intent with Hillary Clinton's actions. Therefore, we believe that no prosecutor worth his salt would prosecute Hillary Clinton in the whole server incident. And then, that happened after Loretta Lynch and Bill Clinton met on the tarmac at Sky Harbor right here, in Phoenix, Arizona, right up the road. And that just blew everybody away. That blew everybody away, and it made the FBI look like it was in collusion with the Justice Department, which looked like it was in collusion with Bill Clinton and the Clinton campaign. And then late in October, inexplicably, Comey opened the case back up because they found new evidence. And that's why yesterday Hillary Clinton was saying that she believed that it was Comey and the Russian WikiLeaks that caused her to lose, even though she still takes full responsibility, whatever that means. But this whole Comey thing, the day after Hillary says this, Comey is back in the news because of what he is about to say right now.
I've lived my whole life caring about the credibility and the integrity of the criminal justice process, that the American people believe it to be and that it be, in fact, fair, independent, and honest. And so what I struggled with in the spring of last year was, how do we credibly complete the investigation of Hillary Clinton's emails if we conclude there's no case there? The normal way to do it would be to have the Department of Justice announce it. And I struggled as we got closer to the end of it with a number of things that had gone on, some of which I can't talk about yet, that made me worry that the department leadership could not credibly complete the investigation and decline prosecution without damage to the American people's confidence in the justice system. And then the capper was, and I'm not picking on the Attorney General, Loretta Lynch, who I like very much, but her meeting with President Clinton on that airplane was the capper for me. And I then said, you know what, the department cannot by itself credibly end this. The best chance we have as a justice system is if I do something I never imagined before, step away from them and tell the American people, look, here's what the FBI did, here's what we found, here's what we think. And that offered us the best chance of the American people believing in the system, that it was done in a credible way. That was a hard call for me to make, to call the Attorney General that morning and say, I'm about to do a press conference and I'm not going to tell you what I'm going to say. And I said to her, I hope someday you'll understand why I think I have to do this. But look, I wasn't loving this. I knew this would be disastrous for me personally, but I thought this is the best way to protect these institutions that we care so much about. And having done that, and then having testified repeatedly under oath, we're done, this was done in a credible way, there's no there, that when the Anthony Weiner thing landed on me on October 27th, and there was a huge, this is what people forget, new step to be taken, we may be finding the golden missing emails that would change this case. If I were not to speak about that, it would be a disastrous, catastrophic concealment. It was an incredibly painful choice, but actually not all that hard, between very bad and catastrophic. I had to tell Congress that we were taking these additional steps. I prayed to find a third door. I couldn't find it. 2 actions, speak or conceal. I don't think many reasonable people would do it differently than I did, no matter what they say today. If you were standing there staring at that on October 28th, would you really conceal that? So I spoke. Again, the design was to act credibly, independently, and honestly so the American people know the system's not rigged in any way, and that's why I felt transparency was the best path. In July, and then I wasn't seeking transparency. In October, I sent that letter, shares and rankings. Yeah, did I know they were going to leak it? Of course. I know how Congress works, but I did not make an announcement at that point. And then my amazing people moved heaven and earth to do what was impossible, to get through those emails by working 24 hours a day, and then said, honestly, sir, we found tons of new stuff, doesn't change our view. And I said, are you sure? Don't do it just because you're under pressure. They said, we're sure. We don't believe there's a case against Hillary Clinton. And I said, then by God, I got to tell Congress that, and no, I'm going to get a storm at me for that. But what I can promise you all along is, I said to people, you may think we're idiots, we're honest people. We made judgments trying to do the right thing, and I believe, even with hindsight, we made the right decisions. And I'm sorry for that long answer.
Director Comey, we have 7 times 6 is 42 minutes. I hope you won't want to take a break.
I'm made of stone.
He's made of stone, but he's looking really fragile. He's looking really weak. One of my friends said swollen around the eyes. It looks like he's lost a lot of weight. There's a lot of stress going on here. But did you hear what he said? He said because Ross, go back to the beginning. When he first started talking about Director Loretta Lynch, whenever you start saying things like this, you're getting ready to throw somebody under the bus.
I've lived my whole life caring about the credibility and the integrity of the criminal justice process, that the American people believe it to be and that it be, in fact, fair, independent, and honest.
He's a Boy Scout.
And so what I struggled with in the spring of last year was, how do we credibly complete the investigation of Hillary Clinton's emails if we conclude there's no case there? The normal way to do it, we'd have the Department of Justice announce it.
I'm sorry. How do we do this if there's no case there? I guess you would be thinking about that. That is a lot of pressure because you're talking about the Clintons, and people wind up dead when they come against the Clintons. So I guess that's a legitimate, if there's nothing here, and I don't want there to be anything here, how do I say that there's nothing here without, compromising the FBI, without compromising my integrity? Well, he failed at both, didn't he?
The normal way to do it, we'd have the Department of Justice announce it.
Right.
And I struggled as we got closer to the end of it.
Why did you struggle?
With a number of things had gone on, some of which I can't talk about yet.
Right.
That made me worry that the department leadership could not credibly complete the investigation and decline prosecution without
the tape.
damage.
Is he saying that the Department of Justice is corrupt? They couldn't make the announcement because they have been compromised?
To the American people's confidence in the justice system. And then the capper was, and I'm not picking on the Attorney General, Loretta Lynch, who I like very much.
Yeah,
but her meeting with President Clinton on that airplane was the capper for me.
Stop the tape. I like her very much. I don't mean to be dumping on her, but I'm about to dump on her. She's a nice woman. They're talking about grandkids, but you know what? I'm about to throw her under the bus. Why? Because that meeting with President Clinton, former President Clinton, we'll pick it up from there when we come back. But I am telling you, I'm all goose pimply again. Why? Because I like the popcorn. This is the kind of movie I like. See, everybody he mentioned should be in prison gear right now.
Loretta Lynch, President Trump, Hillary Clinton. The stuff I guarantee you're not going to hear this on the nightly news. You're not. You're listening to 104.1 KQTH.
Felix Cavalier on One Hit Wonder Wednesday. Larry Graham on One Hit Wonder Wednesday.
You know, it's really amazing to me because every time the Democrats try to get away from this election or try to recast it, try to do, revise it, they get another comeuppance. And today we are just reminded of so much illegality coming from Hillary Clinton and her camp. As someone points out on YouTube, it's not just the email server. I mean, but we're talking about misappropriated funds from the Clinton Foundation, soliciting foreign contributions, all of this stuff. We're just reminded of it. But James Comey today, really, he put distance between himself and Loretta Lynch in the Department of Justice. He threw her under the bus. He said that by meeting with former President Bill Clinton on that tarmac, that discredited the DOJ, and now what he's trying to do is he's trying to preserve his own department, the FBI, his own integrity.
And I then said, you know what? The department cannot by itself credibly end this. The best chance we have as a justice system is if I do something I never imagined before, step away from them and tell the American people, look, here's what the FBI did, here's what we found, here's what we think. And that offered us the best chance of the American people believing in the system, that it was done in a credible way. That was a hard call for me to make, to call the Attorney General that morning and say, I'm about to do a press conference and I'm not going to tell you what I'm going to say. And I said to her, I hope someday you'll understand why I think I have to do this. But look, I wasn't loving this. I knew this would be disastrous for me personally, but I thought this is the best way to protect these institutions that we care so much about.
Wow, so he called her up and told her, if we were to believe his testimony here. He told her. He effectively gave her a heads up. I am telling you, if I were President Trump, I'm looking at this, I think we need to reconsider some things here, and especially in light of how Hillary Clinton and the Democrats have been acting, taking it for granted, taking advantage of his magnanimity, just giving her, we're not going to go after you. This is crazy. And then wait, play the next part, Ross. The part about the emails.
And having done that, and then having testified repeatedly under oath, we're done, this was done in a credible way, there's no there, that when the Anthony Weiner thing landed on me on October 27th, and there was a huge, this is what people forget, new step to be taken, we may be finding the golden missing emails that would change this case. If I were not to speak about that, it would be a disastrous, catastrophic concealment.
I think he's right.
It was an incredibly painful choice, but actually not all that hard. Between very bad and catastrophic, I had to tell Congress that we were taking these additional steps. I prayed to find a third door. I couldn't find it.
No, you need a third door. I believe that. If he did not report this and this would have come out, that would have been bad. That would have been really, really bad. But even in reporting this, there's something new here. Huma had a regular practice of forwarding classified emails to Anthony Weiner. Oh, we got to talk about that just a little bit when we come back. I don't care how you spin. If this were anybody else, if it were not for double standards, right? If this were anybody else, they'd be in jail. Their kids would be in jail. Everybody who touches computers would be in jail. This whole Anthony Weiner pervert thing, that's FBI is investigating that. Yeah, whatever. He had classified documents on his computer sent to him regularly by Huma Abedin. Why was she doing that? See, these are questions that need to be asked. They won't be. You're listening to 104.1 KQTH.
Roger Daltrey on One Hit Wonder Wednesday.
I think about what you said and then I give out.
Big Country on One Hit Wonder Wednesday.
Oh, I love this song. In a Big Country by Big Country. That's the only song they ever came, Big Country. FBI Director Huma Abedin had regular practice of forwarding classified emails to Anthony Weiner. Top Hillary Clinton aide Huma Abedin regularly forwarded classified government emails to her husband, Anthony Weiner.
So today I'm announcing my resignation from Congress.
That's what Comey said today. Weiner's possession, I'm about to say perversion. Weiner's possession of the emails on his computer triggered Comey to announce just 11 days before the election that the FBI was reopening its investigation into Clinton's use of a private email server, a move that sent her campaign into a tailspin and may have cost her the election. Yeah, okay, New York Daily News. May have. Well, I guess it may have. But it wasn't that move. It was the fact that she was dealing, from an illegal server. It's amazing how that's lost in all of this. And even though Comey couldn't find intent, I mean, you had to intend to send classified information to your aide who intended to send it to her husband. See how this is all crazy? And yet this was all reopened again. Like I said, this segment of the testimony, that probably won't be on the nightly news. That won't be on the mainstream media. Al Franken asking about whether or not Comey can protect the French elections. Yeah, that'll be on. Because that advances their narrative. This does not. Michael, welcome to 104.1 KQTH.
Yes, sir. You have to understand the circles that these people operate in, the Arkansas Mafia and all that. This was Huma Abedin's blue dress. She knew that she didn't want to get caught with these emails on her system, so she sent them to Weiner's little
Weiner's little wiener machine.
And just in case anything came back, she'd have something to deal with. And if Hillary actually did get elected, then she'd have that to hold over her head for whatever she wanted.
So you think that this was Huma Abedin forwarding this information that was going to be used, as you said, like the blue dress,
a bargaining chip to keep her out of jail, or something to hold over Hillary's head if she did get elected.
All right, Michael. Let's say that you are telling. Did you nailed it? You got it right here, right? Wouldn't that be a couldn't you prosecute on that? Isn't that damaging? Isn't that breaking the law?
Yeah, we've had the double standard since Bill Clinton got elected. Even before that, you can go all the way back to George Bush Sr. But they were in bed. Just ask Barry Seals. But yeah, Barry Seals is the guy flying the cocaine up from through Panama after he dropped off the guns to Nicaragua to the Mena, Arkansas airport that was run by Governor Bill Clinton's cousin, while George Bush was the head of the anti-drug operations for the Reagan administration. That worked out well.
Yeah, well,
Put the guy from the CIA in charge of the anti-drug operations.
I'm telling you you just connected dots that are going on, back into the 80s.
80s, yes. It's been that way for all you have to do is look at Waco. And no, they kill 70, 80 people.
David Koresh and his group,
and there's hearings.
Janet Reno's dance party. Of course, nothing came out of that hearings. Of course,
right.
Bill Clinton passed the buck to Janet Reno. She said she takes full responsibility for it. And of course, as you said, nothing happened.
Right, and the same thing's still going on today, and that is why you're going to have lawlessness in the streets, because why should I be held to account for whatever laws I break when these people can do whatever they want?
That's what it's coming down to, Michael. Yeah. I think what's damning about today's testimony isn't that, Loretta Lynch is in trouble now. Now we got, that's not it at all. What's being exposed here is the depth, the level of lawlessness. And as this is coming out, you're right. Pretty soon, and we talked about this on our Constitutional Conversations on Monday with Jeff Utch, pretty soon people are going to be like, they're not following the law, so why the hell should I?
Yep.
They're not paying their taxes, so why the hell should I? And then when you get enough people doing that,
you're absolutely right.
you start to see the breakdown of society.
Right. That's the only thing that holds society together is the adherence to one set of rules for everybody. And when you break those rules, you're held to account. Instead, we've got a 77,000-page tax law system that nobody can make heads or tails of, and you're committing 5 or 6 felonies every day just living your own life. It's just a matter of whether they choose to prosecute you.
That is exactly.
There's so many people I know of that discretionary prosecution. They'd never do it to their friends, but if you make too much noise, they'll do it to you.
That's exactly it, Michael. And I think the real issue, if I had one big issue with President Trump in his first 100 days, is that he did not drain the swamp. He did not go after Hillary Clinton. He did not have sessions over justice. Now, drain this baby and go after it. And now we're seeing today was another reminder of the depths of corruption that are here and the deep state that still exists. People who are loyal to the Clintons and loyal to the Obamas are still in place in government.
Right.
He's not draining it, which means that the corruption of our society will continue.
Yeah, Comey. The fact that Comey is still in office and wasn't kicked to the curb immediately, I'd rather have the position open than have him in there.
Michael, thank you very much for the call. Excellent comments. Connecting the dots. We go to Keith. Keith, welcome to 104.1 KQTH.
Well, I've got to say, hindsight's coming 2020 real fast, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
I mean, things are starting to pop. If you listen today, he not only threw Loretta Lynch under the bus, but Huma, Abedin, and Weiner, and all those people. We've been screaming about this for years. It'll finally coalesce and come together. Now, the emails with Hillary, it's quite simple. There's a very old word for it. I think it's pronounced treason.
You know what's funny, Keith? I've heard people on the left side of the aisle today, the right side of the aisle today, both use that same word after listening to Comey's testimony. Treason.
Are they years late or what?
Well, I think what it is, even Al Franken's line of questioning, treasonous. People are saying they are actively trying to overthrow a duly elected government.
Does appear so.
Keith, thank you very much for the call. Treason. Yeah. And again, here we are. We're cruising along. We're supposed to be talking about, whether or not there was some twists and turns when it comes to Obamacare today. But no, the Comey testimony, and he was adamant. You heard him banging the desk. But he threw a lot of people under the bus today. He took Hillary Clinton's comments yesterday seemed juvenile. Oh, Ross, find me the resistance thing. We're supposed to be talking about robotics, and we're supposed to be talking about important issues, like the nonsense that she mentioned. But now I'm a private citizen, and I'm just going to be part of the resistance. Yay! If it were not for Comey's investigation and the Russian WikiLeaks, I would have won the election. Oh, really? I love Trump tweet on that. Or maybe it's because I ran a better campaign than you did, Hillary Clinton. But either way, today makes all of that stuff Hillary Clinton was talking about yesterday, makes her look trivial. No. It makes her look guilty. Even more guilty. When we come back, I'll give you an update on what's happening with Obamacare. There have been some shifts, some twists, some turns. You are listening to 104.1 KQTH Tucson's News and Talk.
Don Williams on One Hit Wonder Wednesday. The Fabulous Thunderbirds on One Hit Wonder Wednesday.
I would walk 10 miles on my hands and knees. Ain't no doubt about it, baby, it's you I aim to please.
You are listening to 104.1 KQTH Tucson's News and Talk. It is a great song. Ross, is that... I thought they had more than one song, the Thunderbirds. Weren't they in that movie Roadhouse? No, like wasn't the lead singer blind and played a harmonica? Something like that?
I think you're thinking of a different group.
Okay.
But that is a really good song.
Right.
So.
Okay. Excellent. Know what I'm going to do? Well.
Oh, I know you're talking about Hillary on the break. So.
Oh, yeah. Well, play Hillary for me real quick.
You know, I can't be anything other than who I am. And I spent decades learning about what it would take to move our country forward, including people who, clearly didn't vote for me, to try to make sure that we dealt with a lot of these hard issues that are right around the corner, like robotics and artificial intelligence, and things that are really going to be upending the economy for the vast majority of Americans, to say nothing of the rest of the world. So, I'm now back to being an activist citizen and part of the resistance.
Yeah, she's an activist citizen, part of the resistance. What does that even mean? What is an activist citizen? I thought you just, yeah, you're just an activist. She's an activist citizen and part of the resistance.
Aren't activists by definition citizens?
Well, that's what, I guess you could be an international activist, can you?
Or you could not be a citizen and be an activist. Did I say that? I did.
Like, can you be a non-citizen? Well, you know what? You can be an illegal activist. We have activists who are illegals. So why does she have to throw citizen in? What, she just cut off like all of the illegals in the country who are activists.
She should have said just billionaire activist. That'd probably be more accurate.
Are the Clintons billionaires?
They're at least multimillionaires.
Yeah,
I thought they were up in that stratosphere with the Clinton Foundation.
They got to be close. Activist citizens. There's been a what's that, Ross? A tremor in the force?
The last time I felt it, it was in the presence of my old master.
Yes, right.
Is that what we're going for
That's
here?
right. That's right. Yeah, Obamacare. I forgot the guy's. I'm trying to look up the guy's name. I was stalling. Oh, look at this. All right, here it is. The Obamacare repeal vote gains votes and momentum. Right, gains vote and momentum. This is as of 2 hours ago. Let me see here. Oh, look at this. The guy. Oh, he's huge. He looks like Howard Heflin, Senator Heflin. Representatives Fred Upton. That's a Republican, Michigan. Fred Upton. And Billy Long. You remember when I said Fred Upton? It reminded me of that of my Uncle Vinny. Fred Tipton. Fred Tipton. Sorry. The stuttering lawyer. All right. Tipton. Representatives Fred Upton and Billy Long, Republican Missouri, on Wednesday said they would now support the GOP's Obamacare repeal and replace bill with the addition of an amendment giving the effort new momentum as GOP leaders push toward a floor vote. Yeah, these are the two of the moderates. Remember, we had the whole thing with the Freedom Caucus, which made sure that they wanted amendments in there that were going to drop the price, cause the price of oh my gosh, my brain today. My brain's not working. Premiums to go down. Thank you, Ross. Premiums go down. And now the moderates want language to remain. That means if you have a pre-existing condition, you will still be covered. Now, of course, Any insurance that has a pre-existing condition is not insurance at all, is it? You can't have. I mean, that's not insurance. So I think part of the deal is that there's going to be sort of like an expansion of Medicaid, a government coverage of people with pre-existing conditions, which I think is, well, more welfare, to be quite honest. More welfare. But that's kind of where we are right now. We're already down that road. Upton added, it's not on the whip team and can't definitely say there are enough votes for it to pass, but they're moving in the right direction. Both Upton and Long dealt a setback to the health care measure earlier this week when they came out against it because they said it failed to protect people with preconditions. That's what I said. The new amendment from Upton would provide $8 billion over 5 years to help people with pre-existing conditions afford their premiums in states that are guaranteed a waiver from Obamacare's protections. I have such a problem with this. I do. And what I'm going to do, we have Mike Noble coming on next because we have some news here about he has a new poll out showing taking the temperature of Arizona. But after that, I'm going to take a few minutes and I want to revisit the words of Ronald Reagan. Ronald Reagan spoke about this in the 1960s, 50 years ago? It's amazing to me. We're going to listen to the words of Ronald Reagan addressing socialized medicine and just see how far we have slipped. That's all I have left. I just don't feel like arguing any of these points because these points are just, we're further down the road to socialism. I know some people get mad at me. I know, what about the compassion? You have no compassion. What about the people? It's not the government's responsibility. You're listening to 104.1 KQTH.
Romeo Void on One Hit Wonder Wednesday.